up to screaming and bright lights at my bedroom window at 2 a.m. At first I thought maybe a car had broken down outside, but then I heard voices and what sounded like chanting. I stumbled out of bed still half asleep and pulled on a t-shirt. When I opened my front door I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There must have been 30 people standing on my lawn holding up their phones with the flashlights on. They were all recording me, and some were even live streaming. Standing at the front of this mob was my ex-girlfriend Ginny, wearing a white dress like she was some kind of avenging angel. She had a megaphone in one hand and her phone in the other. Ginny pointed at me dramatically and announced to everyone that I was a serial cheater who had been dating multiple women behind her back. She said she was there to expose me and make sure everyone knew what kind of person I really was. The crowd started booing and calling me names while I stood there in my boxers and t-shirt trying to process what was happening. I tried to ask Ginny what she was talking about, but she just kept shouting over me with a megaphone. She told the crowd that I had 3 other girlfriends and that she'd found texts on my phone proving everything. People in the crowd were shaking their heads and recording every second. One guy even had a professional camera set up like he was filming a documentary. The thing was, Ginny and I had broken up 2 weeks ago, but not because I cheated. I told her I needed to move back home to take care of my parents. My dad had just gotten diagnosed with COPD and needed help with everything. My mom was already in a wheelchair from her MS, getting worse. But when I explained this to Ginny, she called me a liar and said I was making up excuses to see other women. While Ginny kept ranting about my supposed cheating, the front door opened behind me. My dad shuffled out with his oxygen tank rolling beside him. The clear tubes were hooked up to his nose, and he was breathing heavy from the effort of walking. Right behind him was my mom trying to wheel herself through the doorway. The crowd immediately went quiet and started lowering their phones. "What's going on out here?" my dad asked in his raspy voice. The oxygen machine made a soft hissing sound as he stood there looking confused. My mom was squinting at all the bright lights and trying to figure out why there were so many people on our lawn at 2 in the morning. I could see some people in the crowd looking uncomfortable and embarrassed. I told my parents everything was fine and to go back inside. My dad wanted to stay, but I could see he was struggling to breathe. I helped wheel my mom back through the door while my dad followed slowly with his oxygen tank. Once they were safely